Hello, my friends, and I hope you're having a fantastic day. We're going to visit Ubisoft again today just because, or they just keep doing things that kind of make you wonder. So we have here, less than a month after joining work on the Sands of Time remake, Ubisoft Toronto lays off 33 employees to ensure it can deliver on its ambitious roadmap. Ubisoft calls it a targeted realignment. The plague of layoffs that's gripped the video game industry since the start of 2003 continued today, as Ubisoft confirmed that 33 employees at its Toronto studio have been let go. Ubisoft Toronto has decided to conduct a targeted realignment to assure it can deliver on its ambitious roadmap, a company representative said in a statement provided to PC Gamer. Unfortunately, this will impact the role of 33 team members who will be leaving Ubisoft. We are committed to providing comprehensive support to them, including severance assistance to help them through this transition. The pursuit of growth or future ambitions is an unfortunate oxymoron that's also become a common justification for putting people out of work. Grand Theft Auto publisher Take-Two Interactive described as a rationalizing its pipeline in April, while Xbox chief Phil Spencer in March blamed an industry-wide lack of growth for the decimation of its workforce. Basically, what all this means is they don't have enough money to pay everybody, so they had to cut who they thought was most expendable. And the reason they don't have enough money to pay everybody is a combination of things. One, they hired too many people when they were getting COVID money. And two, they didn't realize that everybody staying home and playing video games wasn't going to last forever. So this influx of money made them think they artificially had a much larger market share than they did. It's actually happening all across the entertainment industry. It's happening in movies. It's happening in TV. Streaming is big. You're actually going to see a lot of paring down of workforces in general when it comes to these studios and everything, because they have more people than they can afford to pay. And especially with inflation, it's just going to get worse. In May, Square Enix announced its intent to aggressively pursue multi-platform game development with an increased focus on the PC market, a strategy that also necessitated layoffs. The following month, Embracer Group unveiled a human-centric AI policy it said will empower its employees, just 3 days after closing Alone in the Dark studio Pieces Interactive outright. Of course, none of these cuts are about people in games. They're about ensuring a number on a page goes up sufficiently to keep investors happy. Those numbers went up very quickly indeed during the opening years of the COVID-19 pandemic, when we were all stuck at home and playing more games than ever, which is literally what I just said. But with those restrictions now a thing of the past, and the fact that we now have to spend more money to keep ourselves alive because the value of the dollar has gone down, but we will not go into the reasons for inflations now. This is not a place for an economics lesson. I've said that before. That rapid expansion has slowed, and the executives who dove face first into an overheated market as though it was going to last forever, and let's be clear, who should have known better, that's literally their job, are now left to reckon with the aftermath, which, naturally, other people are going to have to pay for. I mean, that's the nature of business. The fact of the matter is the people lower down the business always are the ones who get the axe. Sometimes they do realignments at the top, but not as often as they should realistically. But then again, if you structure your business correctly, you shouldn't have too much weight at the top to begin with. The layoffs at Ubisoft Toronto seem especially surprising in light of the fact that the studio was recently put to work on the struggling Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time remake. I don't know why that would surprise them, honestly, which it's handling alongside the seemingly also struggling Splinter Cell remake. Oh gosh, 2 remakes are struggling. I can't imagine why. Given that, you might think Ubisoft Toronto would need more people, not fewer, but Ubisoft said the layoffs will not impact any ongoing work. Our plan remains unchanged, and our teams are working to deliver on the Splinter Cell remake and other projects at the studio. That makes me wonder what type of roles they cut, because a lot of these could be HR roles and other non-developed direct roles. When you're cutting those types of people, you're not going to see a slowdown in that kind of work. You're just going to see less money going out to pay, people who are, for example, part of certain initiatives. But this is just a continuation of the fact that, like the article stated, in the 2020s, early 2020s, they decided that they had the money to do these things because for some reason they really thought that people were just going to stay home for the rest of their lives, which isn't possible, though a lot of people would very much like to stay home for the rest of their lives. The fact is most people don't actually want to do that. They want to get out and do things. I love video games as much as the next person, but even when I have the opportunity to do nothing but sit around and play video games, there's still other things I like to do. Gardening, taking a walk, being with my pets, being with my family, camping, hiking, that kind of stuff. There is no world in which everybody is going to make video games the center of their lives. And honestly, a lot of the things we've been seeing in regards to game development, the type of stuff in it, they were able to get away with because they had all that extra money being pumped into them, not just from consumers, but from the government as well, especially if you go and look at a number of those bills and how they were actually structured and who they gave money to. The government should at no point in time be involved in any entertainment or really the economy, but again, I could go on that for hours. Stop by a stream sometime and we'll get into it, I'm sure. This is a games industry layoff chart. This is for 2004 or 2024. Most recent is, of course, Ubisoft. You have the Gameloft Toronto, which also just happened recently, only on the 27th. Apparently they had something to do with Magic Kingdom. Unfortunately, this leads to substantially reduce our production activity in our Toronto studio and let go some employees of the office. This decision has not been taken lightly, and we understand the impact it may have on affected employees. We will be working with them on a case-by-case basis to find the best way to handle their situation. Interestingly enough, only HR, IT, and management are believed to be unaffected by the cuts, which personally, HR is probably the first place I'd go myself. But that's their company. Apparently they felt that the developers and stuff were more important to lay off. There was 24 Paradox Tectonic on the 18th. An unknown amount apparently at Techland, but that's Tencent, so that's China, who cares. Pieces Interactive is about 40 from Embracer Group. These look like they have less information on them, interestingly enough. VR Chat laid off about 50. I mean, look at this, just all the way down the line. 50, 150, 100, 41, 95, 50, 50, 13, 163. Some of these multiple times from different locations. Here you have Gameloft Kharkiv, Gameloft Cluj. I apologize if I said that wrong. So, and of course Tango, that one made me sad. That's about 150 people lost. And they were a good studio. Arcane Austin. And when it comes to this Embracer Group, a lot of this likely has to do with the fact that they're splintering off into 3 separate groups. I want to say we just recently talked about Qual-Leaf or something. But yeah, just a lot of layoffs going on in gaming this year. And I'm sure at some point they'll circle around and start blaming the players, the consumers, the customers, whatever you want to call yourself. The people who buy the games and play them because we're not buying them enough. Well, I mean, obviously they're not giving us what we want either, so that's the way the market works. AAA gaming is definitely getting ready to see a huge burst. It is on the edge, and part of that is because, again, inflation. When it comes to hard times, entertainment is the first thing to tank. About the only things that are safe in a recession are alcohol, food, and fuel. Anything outside of that, people are very willing to give up for the most part. And the alcohol only survives because people like to numb themselves to the pain of having to give up everything else. All that said, I would not be surprised to see more layoffs before the end of the year. Honestly, I almost expect to see the 2 remakes. I expect to see the Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake and Splinter Cell remake. You know, they may push it through just because they probably think it'd be easy money. But at the same time, I would not be surprised to find out that they were canceled. But what do you guys think? Do you think they'll be canceled? Do you think things will slow down? Do you think that this will have any effect towards them actually listening to what the players want? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. If you really liked it, you can feel free to share it around, and I will catch you later.